Hello, 912 rally. He gave that quote, he gave my speech. I'll just say thank you very much. No, I'm just kidding, I'm just kidding. And Eric, you got a dynamite name. I love it. I'm Eric Wallace. If you didn't get that,
I did.
I'm Eric Wallace, a 912 candidate for U.S. Senate. And I'm a conservative and small business owner. And like you, I feel that today we are getting further and further away from the principles and traditions that have made our nation great. Now, I can only imagine what our founding fathers would say if they were alive and here today. That very document that they labored to put together, to create, has been ignored, marginalized, and abandoned. It is the Constitution of the United States of America that protects our freedoms and limits the reach of government. I carry a copy of the Constitution with me. And got it here. And by the way, they have some over on the table. Different cover, same book. I carry a copy of the Constitution with me. And as I read it, I see 4 principles, which I want to share with you today. They're limited government, individual freedom and responsibility, free enterprise, and traditional family values. When it comes to limited government, I must admit, I don't see any provisions in this book that allows for the feds to own car companies, to bail out banks, to own insurance companies like AIG, or to meddle in our healthcare industry. And if we allow this to continue, we will soon see the government trying to tell us what we can eat, where we can live, and what occupation we will have. You know, like another country that used to do that kind of thing with the initials USSR. When it comes to individual freedom and responsibility, this goes hand in hand with limited government. Because the more the government has control, the fewer options we have. It limits our choices. Cash for clunkers and cap and trade are prime examples. They were all programs to push us in a direction that many of us did not want to go. But if left up to the bureaucrats, we will have no choice but to comply. If government runs healthcare, you will believe that they will be taxing what they deem as unhealthy food to get you to buy the food they think is healthy for you. But we are here to tell Washington that just like one size does not fit all, neither does one menu. We want the freedom to choose our doctors, to choose our profession, and to choose anything else we so desire. We do not need Big Brother telling us what to do. When it comes to free enterprise, let me ask you this question. Is it too much to ask that a person who labors hard to start and build a business be able to one day enjoy the fruits of their labor without the government trying to tax it all away? The American economy is built on the backs of hard-working entrepreneurs who risk everything to provide for their community and their families. And those in Washington treat them like an ATM machine that they rob in the name of fairness, compassion, and sharing the wealth. I don't see this in the Constitution anywhere. So I'm wondering where they get the authority to do this. How about you? Finally, we have traditional family values, which advocates for marriage as defined as one man and one woman. It advocates for the sanctity of life from the womb to the tomb. It advocates for school choice so that parents can send their child to the school of their choice, not just because they live in a particular address or zip code. It also advocates for freedom of religion, not freedom from religion. That we should be allowed to worship any way we choose and to express that faith in the display of a menorah or a nativity scene or a cross without the government coercion, manipulation, or interference. Ronald Reagan once said that we are a shining city on a hill. And of course the Bible says that the light that shines in darkness. But if the light goes out here, it will go out around the world for 1,000 years. Reagan also reminded us that freedom is never more than one generation away from extinction. We didn't pass it on to our children in our bloodstream. It must be fought for. It must be protected and handed on for them to do the same. In one of my favorite movies, Braveheart, thank you, William Wallace, my distant cousin, by the way, said to a frightened army that was arrayed at the Battle of Stirling against one of the most formidable armies in the world. They were outnumbered and outclassed. William said, "You are here as free men. What will you do with your freedom?" I ask you the same question. You are here as free people. What will you do with your freedom? Will you run and hide in a corner hoping that the evil will pass by? Or will you stand for what you say you believe? Will you run to save your life, or will you give it to protect your freedom? Will you stand and watch as your freedoms are eroded, or will you stand and fight for what is your God-given right? Dr. Martin Luther King, another patriot, once said, "The ultimate measure of a man is not where he stands in the moments of comfort and convenience, but where he stands at times of challenge and controversy." I ask you to stand with me and fight to protect our freedom. I ask you to stand with me and send me to Washington to remind politicians that they are public servants, not our masters. I ask you to stand with me and help to ensure that freedom lives on for another generation. Ladies and gentlemen, what will you do with your freedom? I ask you to help elect Eric Wallace to the United States Senate, and we will stand together. God bless you, and God bless America.